Hey everyone. So I'm in a position where I gotta take any job that lands on me, you know. So I don't shy away from bigger jobs, smaller jobs, it don't matter. This client the other day hits me up with a job. They have a huge IKEA job. It was furniture assembly. It would have paid a lot. If it's working or not. Just bear with me while I get out of this neighborhood. It's so weird. Whenever I go down this neighborhood, I can stream no problem. I don't. Hopefully it's good. I had someone in here. Now I don't. Now I'm sad. I think it might be good. Anyway, man. So this client, looking at this job, and it's like it's a long job, but at an hourly rate, you're making good money, but not the best in comparison. So I'm like, whatever, right? If this was an IKEA job, oh man, they would have had to have had it on the dock for 2 people. It's like a huge job. It's like we're talking, I think there was a total of like 12 or 13 PAX units, if not more. It was huge. Very, very big job. Someone already came, they did 4 units, and then the guy had a heart problem or something, so he had to leave. So the dude left the other day, and then they reached out and they chose me. And I was like, okay, I'll go do this job, no problem. And in my head, I'm like, yeah, it'll be a long job. And in comparison to the IKEA platform, I won't make a lot of money. I'll still make good money, do not get me wrong. I'm not gonna shy away from that fact. But it would have been a lot beefier of a job had they gone through IKEA. And they did IKEA just for the design. They hired someone hourly because they're fucking smart. So, which is good. Good for the client, that's very smart, because a lot of IKEA stuff does not take as long. Some of it does though. Some of it does take as long or longer than the estimate. It's really weird. Some things you get on the IKEA program to assemble, you make a killing because you're hardly there at all. If you're experienced. Other things, man, they pay you an hour for something that takes 3 hours to put together. It's bullshit. So anyway, I keep saying that. I had this job been an IKEA job, I would have just stuck through whatever happened. Not a problem. I just would have toughed it out. But for the amount of time it would have taken me to actually do the job, I wasn't going to be around this BS, So what happened, Mace? What happened? Well, I'll tell you guys what happened, man. I'll tell you guys what happened. So I had to call because I was going to be late. I called to let them know, hey, here's what's going on. I am on my way, and told them, hey, I'm stopping at Home Depot to pick up some anchors, because I didn't know that they had already picked up anchors. So, and the husband had given me the wife's number, and she was like, oh, we have anchors. I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. What kind are they? Because there's a certain type that I use, and eventually the husband also called and said, yeah, we have anchors. You don't need to stop. It's like, well, I know she told me I'm on my way. What's going on? What type of anchors are these? And they send me a picture, and I'm like, well, these aren't gonna fucking work, because in order for these type of toggle anchors to work, it has to be flush against the wall. These aren't gonna be flush against the wall because they have thick ass baseboard, and the screws are like super short. And it's like, these idiots. It's like, all right, well, I don't want to call them idiots, but you know what I mean. Anyway, so this chick, man, this chick. So the husband's at work, so the wife's home. She's gonna call. She's like the liaison for me to get down there for her, right? So I get down there, and I'm in the area. And I call her, I'm like, hey, I'm sorry, I'm later than we had said that I was gonna be, but I'm having a really hard time finding your gate. I'm at a gate now, and on the GPS it says that your house is like right there. Can I get the code? And she's like, well, the gate should be open. I'm like, well, I've been to 3 different gates. This is the 4th one. All the gates are locked and closed. I'm at this big red gate. And she's like, that's not my gate. And I was like, all right, can you tell me how to get to your gate? What are your cross streets? Like, I'm basically just trying to get onto into this community, right? And she is just getting pissy. She's like, well, we're from New York. We just moved here. We don't know the cross streets. All she knows is the address. So I relay the address to her. I say, yep, that's the right address. That's the right zip code and everything. Where are you? And I'm like explaining to her. And all in that particular neighborhood, all the fucking street signs are like Spanish or whatever. Like, that's the theme. So I pronounce them how they're spelled, but she pronounces them with the enunciation. So then she starts getting pissed off because she's like, well, what street are you on? I'm like, well, I'm on Pavilo. And then she's like, Pavilo. And I was like, yes, it's the same. And she's like, no, it's a different road. And I was like, well, is it spelled? And I spelled the road for her. And she's like, yeah, that's the right one. It's like, yeah, that's the road. And she's like, well, you need to say it correctly. And I'm like, this lady. And I'm like kind of rolling my eyes at myself while I'm on the phone with her. And I'm like, all right, just truck through it, Mace. You need the money. So I'm talking with her, and it's like, as I'm talking with her, I'm trying to be cool. I'm trying to be calm. And I don't want to use the word trying, but I was being calm. I was like explaining everything to her. And I turned around and I was, all right, getting ready to like just power through it, right? And then she brought up the other dude. And then she's like, oh, you're late and this, that, and the other. And I was like, well, I've been all morning. I've explained to you the entire process, you know, about what's been going on. I've given you updates and everything. You know, yes, I am late, and part of the reason why is the whole GPS issue. And she's like, well, the other guy, he didn't have a problem finding the place. It's like, so maybe it's whatever GPS you're using. I'm like, we all use the same GPS. That's what I told her. It's like, our app connects to the same GPS, so I don't know what the problem is. And I was like, all I need from you is just the right directions. Is, can you push me in the right way? Do you need me to just go around the neighborhood again to figure it out? And then she's like, this, you know, you're late. The other guy said he had heart problems and had to leave, and this is unacceptable. And I was like, you know, things happen, and I'm sorry that things happen, and I'm trying to do everything I can to make sure I can take care of this for you guys. I understand that you guys are upset that it was supposed to be done by another person and it wasn't, and that's why I'm here, is because I'm supposed to pick up the slack from the other guy not being there. So all I need from you is just kind of how to get into this neighborhood. Well, I don't know. You should know. And it's like, I don't do a tremendous amount of work in this particular neighborhood, so I'm not crazy familiar, because that neighborhood, it's like a maze, you know? It really is. A lot of the streets, like, you'll have two crossroads, like names of crossroads that are like identical to each other, like La Vieira and Fiesta Vieira or whatever, right? Like, why are those cross streets? Why would you have those on different roads? Anyway, so I'm talking to this lady, and I'm keeping my cool. I don't want to say trying, because I was actually doing it. And, you know, she brought up the other dude and started getting pissed off about him. And when I had told her, it's like, well, I'm sorry that, you know, the guy had a heart problem, but if he was having difficulty breathing and felt like he needed to leave, I don't think that, you know, that's not such a bad thing. And she's like, well, I'm a medical professional for a living, so I would know if he can leave or not. And I was like, what? It's like, if someone feels like they have a medical issue and they need to go to the hospital, I don't see why that's such a difficult, like, request. I don't see why that's such a difficult thing. She's like, well, I'm a medical professional, so I'll be the one to judge whether or not he's fit to leave or not. And I was like, and then she was pissed off that he left anyway. So I guess what happened was, the dude felt like he had heart problems, told them, they were like, oh no, you're fine. He continued to work, it kept getting worse, and then he's like, no, I gotta go, something is wrong. So he left, and then they got all pissed off. And I'm like, okay, whatever. So this lady, man, this woman, I'm sitting there on the phone, and the idea of canceling the job is like bubbling in my mind. And I'm thinking to myself, I can't do this. I'll try to get, all I need to get out of her is the location. I'll get to the location, I'll take care of business, it'll turn everything around. Because I've had that before, where customers over the phone will be one way, but you get them in person, they act totally different. And it's like a weird human thing, like online or through the phone, like whenever it's not face to face, when you don't ever have to physically interact with someone, they act completely different. So that's what I'm banking on. So I'm still trying, I had already turned around at this point, the gate's behind me, and I'm trying to get this info from her, you know. And I guess she's talking to her Echo Dot, and then finally she comes back on the phone with me. And I was like, so do you want me to circle the neighborhood? I can try to find it. Because if you don't know the cross streets, if you don't know, like, what does even the gate look like? And she's like, well, we're in Inspirada. And I'm like, right, that's exactly where I'm at. I've seen the sign. That's where I am at. And she was like, well, that's not where you're at. Not where you're at, even though that's what you say. And I was like, well, it is, because that's what I saw. So I don't know what you want me to tell you. And then, you know, she started bringing up money. You know, like, oh, well, we make so much money and we paid for this, and, you know, you're just the worker. You got to come here and take care of it. And I was like, and then that's the part where something clicked in my brain. I was like, I'm not dealing with this. This lady's like abusive now, you know, like she's just being insulting, for like needlessly insulting. So I was like, ma'am, you know, I really wanted to help you guys, and I hope you guys get the help you need, but I really don't appreciate how you're talking to me. I'm starting to feel uncomfortable. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel out the job. You guys will not get a fee. And, you know, I hope that everything gets worked out. And then she does that thing after I tell her I'm canceling, where it's like, it's a really weird mix of trying to be nice while still insulting me. And she's like, oh, wait, you know, we had this set up, and we really need this done. You're supposed to come do it. And I was like, ma'am, I explained to you that you made me feel uncomfortable. I don't want to, you know, say the word rude, but you were being rude and somewhat disrespectful. I don't appreciate that. So I understand that there's a lot going on, but I don't want to receive that from someone. So I'm just going to go ahead and cancel the job. And like I said, you guys will not get any fees. And she was not having that. And then she started like yelling at me. And she's like, well, you were late, and no, and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, okay, ma'am, I was late because of the whole anchor situation. I did not know that you guys had anchors. Had I known that you guys had anchors, I would have been here a lot sooner. And then, you know, on top of it, the whole GPS thing, she's like, well, it's not my fault that you don't know how to drive and you can't find directions and that you're incompetent, no. And I was like, ma'am, you're absolutely right. You guys live in a new development. I'm not familiar with the area, which is why I called you to let you know, hey, I'm here, but I'm having a hard time finding the place. Can you please let me know where it's at? And when I asked you that, you know, started getting rude with me and, you know, insulting me without actually providing any helpful information. And she's like, well, it doesn't matter. We're paying good money for this. You have to come do this. And I was like, ma'am, I'm in the middle of canceling right now. I'm not going to come do this job. I'm going to talk to support now. And that's going to be that. And she's like, well, it doesn't matter. You know, we hired TaskRabbit to do this, so you have to do this. I'm like, no, you hired me. We're not employees. We're independent contractors. Even if we accept a job, if we ultimately do not want to do it, we don't have to. That's part of being an independent contractor. So I'm going to notify support of this interaction, and they're going to remove it from my job listing, and that's going to be that. And then she's like, all right, fine. And then she hung up on me. And then in the middle of talking to support in the live chat, letting them know, like, hey, I don't want this, because I don't want it to show up as a no-show or anything. So I'm talking to support in the live chat, let them know the situation. That way it doesn't affect my metrics. Well, I end up, the husband ended up calling me because for whatever reason they didn't want to go through TaskRabbit's third-party phone thing. I had to call the husband through my personal phone number. So he called me, and I was like, hey, I'm so sorry. What happened? I was like, well, I don't want to like put words out there or anything, but from my perception, she was being disrespectful and rude while trying to get, into the property. And he's like, oh no, she's the sweetest woman in the world. She's very sweet. She's very nice. You would know that if you met her. Probably because it was over the phone, or, I know you guys are really like stressed out because of everything. And he's like, oh yeah, she does get stressed out, which is why I didn't want to leave her at the house for this. And I'm like thinking, like, well, then why did you? So he's like, oh, I'm sorry. It's like, I just don't see that as, basically he's calling me a liar. I was like, hey, I understand we all have our different perspectives. It's fine. I don't know what the issue was. All I know is how I was being talked to over the phone, and I didn't appreciate it. And he's like, well, maybe if you're so insensitive, he said, maybe if you're too sensitive, you shouldn't be doing this work. And I was like, sir, I have a lot of clients. I work with a lot of different people. None of them talk to me the way she did. And he's like, well, the way that it works in my world is I pay the money and you do the work. So basically, when I want a job done, I own you. And I was like, no, you don't. We're independent contractors. No one owns us. We do everything, as we see fit. And I no longer felt necessary to do this job. And it was another thing. It's like, it was a trend with the two of them. He started bringing up money. And he's like, well, I make a lot of money, and, my job is very important, so I have to be at work, so I couldn't be there to do it. So, I hired you so you could, handle being there when my wife is there. And I was like, well, I hope you guys find. Like, it was so hard, especially the wife was one thing when she was yelling and screaming on the phone. But the husband, when I was talking to the husband, like, he was calm and condescending. So it's one thing if someone is like upset and saying shit, they're upset. So a lot of that shit isn't them. It's just their emotions in that moment. I can let a lot of that slide. But this guy was cool, calm, and calculated with his words. That's when I knew that this guy's a piece of shit, And it really made me think. It's like, does that happen to a lot of people that, you work so hard in life, you become so successful, you get a job that warrants you living in a big gated community with a fucking large ass house. Get to a point where, like, having money and experience and like all these things, does it accumulate to you being an asshole? Does that happen to everyone? I don't think it happens. There are some clients I have that make those people look like they're fucking homeless, and those people are some of the sweetest people in the world, and they're just so nice. And it's like, I don't believe the fact that money corrupts people. I don't. I do think that there's like a cultural thing to it. So call me what you will. So these guys, these clients, they were Indian. You could just tell from the accent, right? And culturally, in a lot of Asian countries, success is pushed very heavy on the family. And that success is tied directly towards monetary gain. And that, that tells a lot about a person. When a person has a particular job set that offers a particular salary, those individuals will then enact themselves and their personas to carry out the way that they would the whole world with that particular mindset. It's like, oh, now I've reached this level in life that is... that's at least my perception, is that some people, wealth does corrupt them, but I don't think it applies to everyone. I think more people become generous when they become wealthy. More people become thankful, than the opposite. I think that the vast majority of people, wealth is just like an added on thing. It doesn't necessarily change who they are. You can even look at this like the lens of psychology, that at a certain dollar point, money no longer buys happiness. And I definitely agree with the statement, money buys happiness. I am going to tell you that fucking due to the end of the fucking moon and back, like, dude, if you have money, it buys happiness. And here's my train of thought with it. Money does not necessarily, like in this context, money doesn't so much mean the physical currency. We're talking about opportunity. We're talking about options. We're talking there are it's a bridge. Money is essentially a bridge, right? So when you make a certain dollar amount, and that fits you into a particular lifestyle. And when you're within that lifestyle, you have avenues opened up to you. Okay, prime example is me. There's a lot of opportunities I have that don't come from money. They come from experience. This is where the two are kind of linked. So, for example, my mouth, I need a lot of work done on my teeth, and I have for years, and it's gotten to the point where it's really, really bad, and I've been told by multiple medical professionals that I need to do this sooner rather than later, but because dental is cosmetic, none of my medical will take care of it, so it's all out of pocket. So not having money literally closes me off to an opportunity to better myself. That's what I'm saying. So if my mouth, my teeth were fixed and they were in a better position for my own personal health, it would overall affect my well-being on a day-to-day basis. That's what I say where money intrinsically buys happiness, is that my mental health, my physical health, my well-being as a whole, all done because of one issue that I have with my teeth. If that were addressed, it would drastically affect my day-to-day living. It would drastically affect my life. So to say that money doesn't buy happiness is a farce. But at the same time, I would say that intrinsically, just because you have a lot of money and you can buy a lot of material stuff, that's not going to buy you happiness. If anything, that just gives you a momentary euphoria just to offset whatever ails you mentally, right? To truly be able to buy happiness, it's about experience and opportunity. Money is a great bridge to be able to afford you to do that. Not just money, though, not just the paper currency. When you have a certain set of money, when you have a certain skill set, when you have a certain life experience and you have a certain job, these things all tie in to a network of community. Networking, right? Once again, if you're involved in something statistically that brings you in a lot of money, that ties you into a lot of people with further opportunities to grant you with certain experiences. So these things kind of all like filter into one another, but the root cause of all of it's doing. But yeah, let me say one more time in case you didn't hear. Money buys happiness, but that happiness is not necessarily materialistic, it's opportunistic, okay? Yeah, so like the perfect thing with my mouth is that I am now getting that taken care of. Well, I'm on the road to getting it taken care of. It's still a long ways off, but I have found ways to take steps. I've MacGyvered my life, as it were. So, but when dealing with these people, you can tell that this excess amount of money in their lives, and I don't know how much money they make. They could have support for all I know. But you know, when you follow the guys with the whole stereotypes and everything, you kind of put the pieces together. See, my thing is, it's kind of always been the same, man. I want to be able to afford a life where I can provide opportunities and experiences for my kids. Are those things intrinsically linked towards a certain dollar amount? Yeah, they are. But that's the benefit of not being wealthy. When you're not wealthy and you still want to be able to have opportunities, you still want to be able to have experiences, you're not flipping the bill as much. Instead of putting forth money, you're then putting forth time. And time, and I've said this before, some people say time is money. No, time is far more valuable than money. Time is extremely valuable. Time means a lot because we only have a finite amount of it. And the problem with time is that none of us know how much time that we actually have. So moving forward with that train of thought, when you don't have a lot of money, when you're cutting it every single month just to pay the damn bills, when you kind of like bring all this together and you really, really think hard about it, oh wow, the biggest thing that comes out of it is the fact that you have to figure it out. And that's not such a bad thing. The past 3 years of my life has been figuring it out, and because of that, I have actually become extremely happy because I have managed to do things without money. So the idea on the flip side of money doesn't buy, the idea of money buys happiness, I could say money doesn't buy happiness. Because the one thing that money doesn't buy is intuitiveness. It doesn't buy the brain power, right? What buys the brain power, what buys what can afford intuitiveness, what can afford productive thought, what can produce, you being proactive in your own life, you being an active participant in your continued success. What can do that? Nothing in the world can do that except for yourself. And money, and from that perspective, is the get out of jail free card. It's the easy, quick way to take care of something that you don't have to be responsible for yourself. So there are crazy different ways to look at this, and that's kind of what I've always done. Is I look at both sides of the avenue and I try to make sense of both of them and try and stream them together. And I did obviously spend more time on one than the other. The lesser of two evils thing, everyone wants to live in a world where we're like, oh, money doesn't buy happiness. It's all about experiences, man. And dude, we live in a society where money is necessary to live our daily lives based upon a particular lifestyle that we want to enrich ourselves with. But not everyone can do that. See, my thing is I want to make enough money so I can have a home. That's it. Enough money so I can have a home, I can sustain myself and my family. That's my goal. I don't need the world, but I want to be able to give my family the world. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. And it's hard. It's really hard because I always feel like I'm not giving enough. And that's not a bad thing. It's not. It's a normal thing. If you feel like you're not giving your family enough, even though you've given them everything, that means that you value your family, you value those loved ones so incredibly high. I don't think it's a bad thing at all to think that. But yeah, it is how I feel, because I feel like I could be doing more for my family. I could be providing them more. Because I feel like my kids are worth it, especially, that's the continuation. That's who we put off forward. That's our legacy. That is, our children. It's so vitally important to us. Those are the ones that continue on and speak our name into the rest of the time. Anyway. You know what I want for Christmas? I was driving the other day, right? And it was really pretty yesterday. I was driving, one of my favorite clients, I dropped off a copy of shelter, 2 copies of shelter for them. And then I was headed home, and I didn't take the freeway, I kind of took the side streets. And as I was headed down, it was a part of town where there wasn't a lot of buildings. And I just looked off, and I just saw the mountains. The Las Vegas mountains over on the west side. And they were laced with snow. It wasn't completely white. There were still some pockets of dirt and stuff. And just seeing that, it was very serene. And I would love to have that for Christmas. I think making sure that the missus could see that would be nice. I know she's stuck in home all the time watching the boy, and I don't know. It would be nice to snow on Christmas. That would be nice. Probably asking a lot, but it did snow here last year, so you never know. So I think that would be really good. She would really appreciate that. That's what I want. I want it to snow. So if anyone knows how to control the weather, please do something. Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, just make it snow. And now I have to get her a Diet Coke because she's sick and she likes drinking Diet Coke. So, well, she specifically likes the fountain one. Anyway, how are you guys doing? How's your guys' day? I went on call because I was hoping to do that job, make some money, but huh?
Please help me out and get some gas. I'm trying to get back to Pahrump.
I don't have anything, man.
No spare change at all?
Just pennies, but that's it.
How many a bunch?
Not like a couple. No, I've already used up all my quarters, man. What do I have? Yeah, literally, I have like 6 pennies. Hey, what's going on? Can I get, what is it? A large Diet Coke?
Anything else?
That's it.
All right, that's gonna be 108.
Well, I also wanted to get a burger, but I don't want to fucking deal with that guy. And he's still over there. Here's the thing, man. You might think I'm cold-hearted for telling someone no when they ask for money, right? Especially with my history. The problem is, here in Vegas, there's a lot of scammers, a lot of con artists. They're, especially in this area, right here where I'm at, there's a lot of people that fake the whole homeless thing. In my complex, there's a couple that live there, and then they come and beg down here for change all the time. And then they get in their car and they drive back. Car's nicer than mine, so. This guy's being real sketchy. Sorry, I'm just, my train of thought's like lost off in that dude. Anyway. Yeah. Yep, that was a good shining example of everything I said that's gone to shit. I like helping people. I want to be able to help people, but I don't know, it's just uncomfortable. I don't know, I just, as a rule, I just don't give out. Like, there was a time where if I had extra money on me, I'd give it to whoever asked, you know, even if I didn't have a lot of money on me. But I guess as I've gotten older, I don't necessarily do that as much. So, I don't know. I'm trying to find the right train of thought for this. You know, I was dating this girl when I lived up in Washington. And her, my sister, my mom, we went out. And, I'll let this guy go. Yeah, so I'm so sorry. So we're in Washington, we're in Seattle, we're walking around the city, in sights, whatever. And this girl, man, there's a lot of homeless out there, a lot of homeless out in Seattle. And I saw this girl, and, you know, I'm a man, you know, instinctively we you know, to judge women. And I look at this girl, and she's scruffy, she's dirty, looked like she's been out there for a while. She's got one of those signs or whatever. And she was beautiful. She was very pretty, but she was so scared. Like this layer of fear and shame was on her. And dude, are you kidding me? Come on, man. It's like I was already here to go forward and you try to cut in front of me, really? Anyway. And I'm looking at this girl and I'm like, you feel so bad. And it had nothing to do with like physical attraction. No, it's like you look at this semblance of innocence and you feel guilty because you instinctively compare, well, I'm standing here, and when I leave here today, I'm gonna go to a home and sleep. God knows what this person's gonna do. And you have all these mix of emotions. And two thoughts came to my mind. It's like, thought number one, I didn't have any fucking money on me at the time. None. I had like nothing in the bank account even. Like I was fucking broke. Bitch probably had more money than me. But I'm thinking in my head, it's like, I wish there was something I could do for this girl. And then the second thought came. It's like, they realized there's this one girl, and then you have this entire city filled with homeless people. Like on every street, every block, there's at least 3 or 4 of them in Seattle. And I'm like, it doesn't matter. If I help this one girl, how does that solve all of this shit? And that's a very cynical mindset to get into. It really is. And I understand that, but when you break it down, how do you help homelessness? You don't just run off and give people money. And that filters back into the whole opportunities and experiences thing. You got to give people a hand up. When I first moved out here, man, I was lucky I even had a car. And they got me set up to live at this homeless shelter. And I was like, I have a car. I would literally rather sleep in my car than sleep in a homeless shelter. And it wasn't like a pride thing. It's like, I just don't want to be around other people. You know, I just want to just be here in my own thing, you know? So I had, I opted out of it. And they said, well, there's certain, opportunities like work and stuff and this, that, and the other that we can't help you with unless you live in this place for the time. And it's like there's curfews, this, that, and the other. Oh, what happened? Dude, I went into this long-ass story about it. What's up, John Doe? Oh. Ah. Yep, just a large diet.
Yes.
All right.
Do you need a receipt?
No.
Thank you.
Have a good one. Okay, so all right, I got fed up with those app gigs, dude. Man, I'm so fed up with them too. That's why I'm trying to make it as an author. Buy my book. Nah, but for real though, the issue, like I went into the whole thing, and it's a long. Thanks. It's like a long 20-minute conversation, but the long story short, so I get to this job. The husband's at work, gave me the wife's number. I'm trying to get into the property, can't get into the property. And this chick just starts screaming at me when I ask her on the phone for the gate code. Our gate's open, we're in new development, there's construction going on, the gate's always open. I just went through it this morning and I'm like, that's cool. Then can you tell me how to get to wherever you're at? Because the GPS sent me in the wrong spot. Well, it's not my fault you don't know how to drive. And the other guy that came the other day, he had no problem. It's like, well, it's good for him. I'm the one having difficulties. Why are you bringing up this other dude? Just being really short, being really rude, and then started yelling at me, insulting me, calling me, well, you're the cheap labor. You should just be here. She used that phrase too. You're just cheap labor. I don't know why you're not here on time. We're paying money for this. And, it's like we spent a lot of money on the items. We spent a lot of money on assembly, and you should just come and do this. And that's the long and the short of it. And it's like, this ain't fucking worth it. I'm not dealing with these people. And I politely told her, at this time, I no longer feel comfortable. I'm canceling the job. So that's what I did. I canceled the job. There's a lot more that goes into that, but I'm just going to kind of leave it where it is for now. Oh wait, the stream's going to kick off. I just realized what street I'm going down. They'll hire me, and then again, and my rates changed, and they're like, well, I hired you before, you were like $20 an hour, and now you're like 30. Can you just charge me 20 an hour? It's like, doesn't work that way. The reason why I charged that much when I first started is because I was brand new to the platform and I needed work. Now that I have done work and I'm worth $30 an hour. So that's why, or however much I charge now. I think the clients now get charged like $40 an hour for most stuff. Anyway. Hopefully it doesn't kick out. It hasn't kicked out yet. It might though. Oh shit, give me a second and I'll read that. I didn't realize you wrote so much. Yeah, look, man, I've said this a billion times. Like, I don't want to keep doing this app stuff. Like, dude, what would I want more than anything? I would want a fucking 9-to-5 job where I have to dress nice, go to work, sit down, do my job, fucking leave. Like, ever since I was a kid, that's what conceptually, for a successful adult, you put on a suit, you go to work, you work for some company doing something, and then you fucking come home at the end of the day. And, you know, I would always want something like that in the video game world. Public relations, because I'm so good with people. That's what I went to college for, you know. That's what, you know, I spent years doing shitty internships for, you know, and it's like, it just didn't pan out because there was no fucking money in it. And so I followed the money, and it brought me to the app stuff. It's like you know, for the amount that I actually work, for the hours that I spend working, I make a killing because, you know, it's a skill. You know, you look at construction workers, you look at HVAC, you look at plumbers and all this shit. Like, people don't want to do these jobs because they think it's below them. These guys make a shitload of fucking money. I used to in HVAC when I was working hourly, and then they put me in my own truck and I was working commission, and I didn't make jack shit because I did not feel comfortable selling shit to people that they did not need. You know, you know, why am I going to sell an air scrubber to someone that, you know, like, it is beneficial. I can see this, that, and the other. I can see the benefits. But if someone just spent fucking $18,000 on a unit, and a year later you get another guy that wants them to spend another, like, $1,200 on the damn air scrubber, it's like, bro, come on. That's a lot, man. That's a bit much. Really, man? I have no idea what this guy is doing. Okay, whatever, man. Alright, I'm gonna go check the mail. I'll be right back. Whatever. Okay. Oh man, I was really hoping to run into that. Oh, fuck. Oh, sorry, God. You guys quick. So there's some, so if I'm not gonna work today, I'm just gonna edit videos. So, cause there's a shitload of videos I need to edit for you guys. So let me do, fuck. I have to go to the VA. I just realized that. All right, let me go in here, get lunch, take care of the missus real quick, and then I'm gonna go take care of that thing. Anyway, I love you guys. Thank you so much for being an awesome community and letting me fucking just talk shit, you know. It helps. It really does. Thank you guys. You're the best. I'll be back on a little later.